Hello guys, so this experiment we're going to be talking about warm and cold fronts. So this has to do with when you guys talked about weather, and we're going to do an experiment regarding that so you can see what happens when a warm front meets a cold front. So first we're going to talk about what warm and cold fronts are. A warm front is the boundary of an advancing mass of warm air, such as a cloud. The air behind a warm front is warmer and more moist than the air ahead of the advancing mass of warm air. A cold front is the boundary of an advancing mass of cold air, such as a cloud with cooler air. The air behind a cold front is colder and drier than the air in front of this advancing mass of cold air. Before I do this experiment, think about what you think is going to happen in the bowl, what you think happens when a warm front meets a cold front. So for this experiment, you're going to have 2 cups. I would prefer you use plastic, it doesn't really matter. So to start this experiment, you're going to need a cup of hot water and a cup of cold water. I already went ahead and prepared both. For the hot water, just take some hot water in a cup and warm it, microwave it up to 1.5 minutes or so. Be careful with the hot water because it is hot. I don't want you to burn yourselves. For the cold water, just take some water with about 4 cubes of ice and let it melt. After you prepare your hot water and your cold water, make sure you have a bowl, any size will do, a piece of cardboard, something to mix it with like a spoon, paintbrush, whatever. And I will be using acrylic paint because I do not have food coloring, but food coloring works just as well. So what we're gonna do for the cold water, to represent the cold water, I'm going to use blue paint, just a little bit to dilute it so you know the difference. The cold water is going to represent the cold front. So I'm going to mix it up well because paint won't mix as easily in cold water as it does in hot water, just because in hot water the molecules move much faster. Go ahead and put the red paint in the hot water to represent the hot front. So be careful because the water is hot. Try and make it as pigmented as you can just so you can see the results of this experiment. So next I'm going to have this piece of cardboard to separate each side of the bowl. At one time I'm going to pour the cold water into one side, the hot water on the other side, and try and quickly remove the cardboard so we can see what happens. So I'm going to have my sister help me pour water on one side. Okay, pour it slowly. Stop. Pull the cardboard out. And let's watch what happens in the bowl. So as you can see, at the top it's red. In the middle where the cold and the warm front meet is purple, so it's a mixture. And at the bottom we have where the cold front is. So now that we've done the experiment, let's see if your hypothesis was correct and why. So we see that the warm front is at the top and the cold front is at the bottom. And this is exactly what happens when a warm front and a cold front meet. The warm front gets forced above the cold front when a cold front overtakes a warm front. What we see is a visualization of the warm air being forced above the cooler air mass. So hopefully your hypothesis was correct. If it wasn't, I hope you understand why that is, and if you were right, that's really great. So hopefully now you understand what happens when a cold front meets a warm front. So thank you guys for watching.